guys, welcome back to my channel and to a brand new video. Today I'm going to be doing a TBR for what month are we doing? April. And I've picked quite a few books here, so this is going to take a little while. So I'm just going to get straight into it. I've separated them into two stacks, basically romance and fantasy, but there's some other things as well. I got a classic and stuff. So I think I'll start with the fantasies first. First up we have God Killer by Hannah Kaner. I can't believe I haven't read this yet. I was so desperate to read it and I picked it up in January. Well, Connor picked it up for me, thank you. And I'm really excited. It's super short. There's actually no excuse for having not read this. It was on my anticipated releases of 2023 video. I thought I would read it as soon as I got my hands on it. And also this beautiful cover. Like, I feel like this is reason enough to want to read it. So the fact I haven't already is vile. We basically follow a god and a god killer as they have to band together to flee demons who are in pursuit after them. I think it's going to be a little bit sad, I reckon, which is kind of what I'm vibing with right now. But I think mostly it's just going to be a really, really fun, atmospheric read. Like, if these end pages are any indication, this is going to be a beautiful world. And I'm really, really invested in finding out some more about it. So this is the first book on my TBR, and hopefully one that I have no excuse to get to because it's so small. There's like no excuse. Next we have one that's been on my TBR for so long, and that is Book of Night by Holly Black. I've put this off for probably the same reason a lot of you have put this off. There has been a lot of mixed reviews about this. I am a huge lover of the Cruel Prince series. It's my favourite YA series. And this is Holly Black's first adult novel. Everybody I've heard talk about this says that the writing style is really weird and the story doesn't really go anywhere. And I've just kind of put off for so long reading it because I'm absolutely terrified that it's going to be awful and it's going to ruin my Holly Black love. I'm not really entirely sure what the book is about. Like, I don't think many people talk about it. And even reading the synopsis, it doesn't give you a lot other than the fact it's about Charlie Hall and she's kind of hiding from something, and then her troubled boyfriend's past comes up to haunt her. And people are trying to steal something from her secrets or something, I think. Again, I don't know anything about this. And nobody really talks about what the book's about. They just say it's not written very well and the story doesn't really go anywhere and stuff. So I have a lot of like hesitation going into this, and I'm worried that it's not going to be very good. But I'm trying to come to the acceptance of you either need to read it or you need to unhaul it, and I don't want to unhaul it before I give it a go, so I'm gonna do so, and hopefully I will love it more than everybody else seems to love it, because yeah, this hasn't been a very good reviewed book. Next I want to read Now She Is Witch by Kirsty Logan. Look at this cover, this is absolutely stunning. This is a brand new release, I believe came out in January, and it's witchery but with like a dark side to witches as well. Like, I think it's like good versus evil witches, and that to me just sounds so intriguing. The only bit that I want to read to you is from the snowy winter woods to the bright midnight sun, from lost and powerless to finding your path. Now she is a witch conjures a world of violence and beauty, a world where women grasp at power through witchcraft, sexuality and performance, and most of all, throwing each other to the wolves. I think this is going to be so my cup of tea. Like, I don't think there's going to be a book that's more made for me, so I really hope I love this. I hope this is a 5 stars. My fingers are crossed. I've been kind of putting it off because I wanted to read it in like the perfect moment. And I feel like you have to create a perfect moment for every book, not the other way around. So yeah, this is a high priority for this TBR. Probably one of the first I'll pick up. And it's absolutely gorgeous. And I'm really excited to do so. It sounds amazing. Next up we have like a fantasy romance. And that is Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. So I think this is primarily a romance, but it's also a bit fantasy. I think it's set in like the Regency era. Yeah, Regency England, when you're a young lady with only half a soul. So I've seen this compared to Bridgerton a lot, and I personally am a big Bridgerton fan. I really enjoy it. So the concept of this being like not only romance, Bridgerton style romance, but also bringing a little bit of magic into it just sounds so interesting and so fun and so unique. I've seen so many people reading it. I've seen it has great reviews online. I don't know why it's taking me this long to pick it up. I've had it for months. We follow Theodora Ettings, who's been cursed by a fairy to only have half a soul and therefore thinks she can't love. But as she does meet a man, she believes maybe she can indeed fall in love, and I think then their worlds get entangled, and I think we see a lot more around what happened with the curse and things. I'm not sure, but it sounds really interesting. It's less than 300 pages, so it's not going to take me very long. I just can't believe I haven't done so yet. On a similar vein of a super short book I can't believe I haven't finished yet, I have This Wicked Fate by Callahan. This is the sequel and the final book, I believe, to This Poison Heart. This is so small, especially in comparison to This Poison Heart. It's again just under 300 pages. I am so excited to see this and carry on with Bree's story. I feel like the ending of This Poison Heart was such a cliffhanger that I was so excited to dive into the next one. I finally get my hands on it and I just don't. I mean, it's the story of my life at this point. But I am so intrigued, and every night I see this beautiful spine right there staring at me, and I'm like, I need to pick this up soon. And this today is, well, not today, but like this month is going to be the month. I'm really, really intrigued. I don't want to read you the synopsis or anything because obviously there's a sequel. But if you do not know what This Poison Heart is about, it is following Brees, who moves into her biological parents' mansion after the mum passes away, and finds out that her family have been kind of the runners of a, what would you call it, an illegal apothecary or an ancient apothecary, using medicines that they have grown in their poison garden to heal people of the community. And Brees decides that she's going to continue their legacy and do so. That is like a very small part of it. I don't know, there's just so much build up around the world of Brees and her story and her parents. I loved her mums and loved the story of her biological family, loved the town, loved the people in the town. The twist that came had me shocked, and I'm just so excited to see more about it and also learn more about this character because they were very intriguing to me in the first book. So yeah, I'm very, very excited. Then I finally have, because I was bullied into reading it by Jade, The Witch's Heart by Genevieve Gornichek. This is a mythology retelling about Loki's wife, and I love Loki, so I'm excited to see more about Loki, but I also really love feminist mythology, and I mainly only read mythology retellings surrounding my women. So the fact that this is about Loki's wife actually sounds like this is just going to be my perfect read all round. And Jade was so kind. She absolutely loved this book. She was so kind to like hunt out the really nice cover for me because I hated the UK cover. And I've been so nervous about not liking it that I've just kind of put it off in fear, because if I don't like it, I feel like I'm gonna let Jade down. So I'm gonna try now. I'm gonna finally try to read this because it's been on my shelves for a year. As of this month, April, my birthday month, I got this for my birthday last year. I need to read this. So I don't know what the story is following, just that it's following Loki's wife. And how she falls in love with, it shows they're falling in love and then trying to hide from Odin's all-seeing eye. I don't know, I'm very excited. It says, from the most ancient of tales, this novel forges a story of love, loss and hope for the modern age. It just sounds like it's going to be beautiful. I'm so hopeful for it, and if this isn't 5 stars, I might have to stop reading. Who knows? And finally, for like the fantasy category, I have Heartless Sky by Caroline Peckham and Susan Valenti. This is the 7th book in the Zodiac Academy series, and a chonker. A very large book. I have started this. I'm not far in. How far is this? Let's have a look. 54 pages, because I've been tabbing the living daylights out of this. Oh my god, don't lose my page, please. I am so invested in this series. I love to just really take my time and tab. But I've started this in a slump in hopes it would take me out of it, and it didn't. The only thing that's worked for me recently is reading Kindle books. So I could read these on Kindle because I have them on Kindle from when I started to read them, but I want to tab, so I want to stick with physical, and I'm hoping that this is going to be the month that I'm back to physical reading. I'm going to finish off this series. Well, not finish it off, because there's another book, number 8. And I think there's another book coming out next year now as well. So, yeah, I just need to finish this one, though, because this is the last one I own in this series. And I'm kind of scared. I've put this off because I know that at the end of this book, I've seen a spoiler. It's going to be horrifying. It's going to be sad. It's going to be depressing. And I don't want to put myself through it, and I don't want to read about the character going through it either. But this is the month. Not only as well is it so large, the writing is just like full page text. Non-stop full page text. Like, it's ridiculous. But yeah, I'm really excited to carry this on. The series is like, it's got crack in the pages. You just can't stop reading. It's probably not a Shakespearean masterpiece, but it's definitely really, really good and really entertaining. So this one is the final fantasy on my list for April. I'm gonna put the wild card up here now and show you the classic I want to read. I have an entire classic shelf here and none of them are read. None. I have another classic shelf further down of read ones, but the fact that I have this many classics unread is kind of vile. So I said I wanted to read a classic, one classic every month. It's gonna be April and I've read none. So I'm gonna make it my mission to read one this month. And to like ease myself in, I've gone for a super short one, and that is To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf. It doesn't tell me a lot about the synopsis. I don't know about it. It just says, for years, the Ramsays have spent every single summer on the Isle of Skye, and they expect these annual outings to go on forever. But nothing stays the same. In a novel that captures the ebb and flow of time and the tides, Virginia Woolf captures the intensity of childhood delight and the complexity of adult relationships. I can just tell that if any classic is going to be my cup of tea, it's this one. I've never read Virginia Woolf's writing, so I'm hopeful that it's going to suit my reading taste well. But yeah, they're classics for a reason. A lot of people like them. I only really trust Daphne du Maurier as my favourite classics writer, so I kind of want to expand that a little bit and start to appreciate and enjoy more authors' works. So this is the one I'll be hopefully getting to this month, and I mean, really, there is no excuse. Like, it's so small. Now onto the romances, of which we have quite a few, and then I will go over the couple of ebooks I have chosen. First up, we have Twisted Games by Anna Huang. I read Twisted Love last year, absolutely loved it, ran out to instantly buy this one, and then never read it, because that is very me. So yeah, this is the second book, and I believe it is following a bodyguard romance, I want to say, and I'm so hoping it is. Is it? It is. So she is a princess, he is a bodyguard. I'm sorry, I didn't need to hear anymore. I really liked Twisted Love. I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was really, really good. I'm hoping it'll only get better because that's what I hear most people say. So I'm hoping this one will be even better for me, even more enjoyable. It is thicker, which I actually really want. I just can't believe I haven't picked it up yet. So here we have my first romance of April. Then we have 2, which I'm going to show you together because they're a duology or a series, I guess. And that is Set on You and X's and O's by Amy Leah. I put this on my 2023 anticipated releases video. And yeah, they're a series. This is the one I'm most excited about, but I want to read this one as well. And I thought, I have a real tendency to read the first book and then never read the second. If you saw the amount of romance sequels I have, it's disgusting. I mean, this kind of proves that. So I want to read the both of them back to back. They're both fireman romance, I think. And so I feel like it'll be good to read them back to back, you know, get a whole load of firemen in one. Hopefully I'll love the writing style. Fingers crossed for me. But yeah, I don't know what this one is about. Fitness influencer built her career after shattering gym stereotypes. After a recent breakup, she has little time for men and instead finds joy at the gym. And then she meets a firefighter, Scott Ritchie, who is a smug new gym patron who routinely steals her favourite squat rack. That does sound really, really cute. I think I'm going to enjoy that one. It's going to be like she gets mad at him and maybe falls in love with him. And then this one is following Tara, who is kind of like a hopeless romantic, and all of her relationships have failed. So she enlists the help of Trevor, a firefighter, to help her execute a meet cute between her exes and hers to try and fall in love, and then maybe finds that going back to your exes was not the choice and you should look a little closer to home, even though he's a relationship phobe. It sounds like it's going to be adorable. Firefighters are hot, so what more can I say? Then we have Court of the Vampire Queen by Katie Robert. I believe this is 3 books in one. I want to say, I think that's the case. I think they were like initially 3 different books and then they were binded up. So I think this is going to be a wrapped up story. I don't think it's a series that I have to buy another book for, fingers crossed. So I'm hoping to read this entire bind up this month. So we follow Mina, whose father gifts her to a horrifying vampire called Malachi as part of a political game. She is really upset, obviously, because her father's just sold her to a man. But as she grows to live with Malachi and see more about his life, she realizes he is not the terrible vampire she once thought he was. I have a love-hate relationship with Katie Robert. Some of their books I've been absolutely obsessed with. whereas some of their other books have been totally not for me and I've absolutely hated them. I'm really hoping this is going to fall on the side of love. And I think it will. I really like vampires, and I haven't read a lot of vampire romances recently, especially adult ones. I feel like I never get to read any adult romances with vampires in them. So I'm really, really excited about this one. This copy is absolutely stunning. Fingers crossed this is a really good one for me. Then I have Professor Callahan by Kalani Booth. This is the only Kalani Booth book I haven't read yet to date that she's released. It's a relationship between a student and a professor. I mean, it's in the title. I think that's all. I think she is also not only his student, I think she's also the man's best friend's daughter, making it a very taboo story because obviously I don't think you'd be very happy if your best friend dated your daughter. I don't know. I don't think that's the vibe. But yeah, I'm really excited about this. It is a super short story and it's also like huge words. So this will probably take me less than an hour to read. I have no excuse for having not read it. I am very excited to get my hands on it. I've loved all of Kalani Booth's books. Very taboo, so be careful if you're going to try and go into them. But yeah, I think this one is the least taboo of the lot. So if you want to check out their books, this is the one to start with. I would say, I mean, that's coming from someone who hasn't read it yet, but I will have in April, so you'll see my review. Then finally for physical books, I have Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. I bought this and had full intentions of reading it the day I received it, but I was in my slump and I didn't. This is going to take a little while. Like, there's a lot of pages and a lot of text. I think this is going to be really, really good though. It's got multimedia in it. Let me have a look. Yeah, there's like text screenshots and things. This has been compared to Gossip Girl, but with a toxic romance. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. The cover, I don't know if I'm here for. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. But I feel like the back gives you more of a display of what these books are about, if anything. I'm really intrigued, and as a birthday present to myself, I said I could buy all of the books because they're really big. And I've got like the extra large editions. They come in 2 sizes. So I want to make sure I get the matching editions, and they're quite expensive. So I said for my birthday I could treat myself to them, but only if I'd read this first book. So I have less than 15 days to get on this. Now, for the 2 ebooks I have chosen, because I'm really in a Kindle mood, so I'd like to have some options, I have chosen Untamed, which is a House of Night novel. And House of Night is a YA, very YA series from, I say very YA, it's not like very YA as in like young audiences should read it. I mean, there's like some definitely older scenes in it, but it doesn't, you know, YA now feels a lot older than it used to. I used to read this when I was 13. It follows a vampire school, and we follow a vampire as she's the chosen one by the Nyx goddess. It's very cringe. It's very cringe. It has some problematic elements I'm realizing upon my reread, but I want to say this is the 4th book in the series. I want to reread it to like fulfill my childhood fantasy dreams of finishing this series, because I never read the last 2 books, which kills me because I could have just read it, but I don't remember any of the series. So I would like to carry on my reread of that this month and just read that one book. I mean, that should take me 2 hours, if that. So I have no excuse. That will be read this month, hopefully. And if I'm feeling it, I might just carry on with a couple more and try and get them done. But I'm not going to pressure myself to do that. I'm only going to like commit to the one right now. But I think that's going to be really, really good. And then finally, for ebook, I want to read 7th Circle by Tate James. This is the first book in the Hades series. I have already read her other series, which I can't remember the name of. And I feel like at first I was in love with it, and then it kind of started to get a bit repetitive for me, which I've started to notice is a problem for me in these self-published series. But I had a good time reading them. Like, I did still enjoy them, and I would like to carry on with this series now. So my plan is to read the first book this month, see how I feel, and then if I fancy carrying on, I can. But if not, I've got all these books on my Kindle taking up Kindle TBR space. I want to read and find out, because if I don't like them, I can just unhaul them. I don't know what to tell you what they're following, because I don't know. But if it's anything like the Madison Kate series, that's what it's called, it's going to be a mafia or gangster romance, you know. That's all I remember. So if you're into those kind of things, you might like this series. I've heard a lot of good things about it. But yeah, I've read Madison Kate, so now it's time to read the Hades series and hopefully love it. So those are all the books I want to read in April. Quite the stack. I think that's 16 books. But I believe I can do it if I try hard enough. I might get a little bit sidetracked by birthday books, but maybe I'll try and read all these before my birthday, which is the 15th. So, I mean, I have half a month. Who knows? Who knows? But I'm going to try my best. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye!